So today is about the powerful connection between the gut and brain health. And I'll be talking a lot about nutrition, as you heard from Dr. Laura, that I am a nutritionist, a holistic nutritionist, and there's so much more to nutrition than just the food. So let's go here. Let's see, everything goes. So who am I? And I think we already had a good description of who I am, but this is my little fella. This is him. His name is Kieran, and he brings so much light and joy to my life. So what happened to me is that I thought I was healthy. I thought I was doing great. I was in the Bay Area, was busy, doing things all the time, and felt okay, but then suddenly discovered that I was sick. So I went on a journey, as kind of what you had just heard, and discovered that all the things that I had been doing may not have necessarily been that healthy for me. And so I went back to school, I studied nutrition, and I'm still studying, I'm still learning, because we never know, we don't know everything. And it's just, for me, it's just so fascinating to continue to learn and grow. And I'm there to support, because one of the things with regards to what I do is I don't tell you what to do. We work together, we're a team. And when we work together, we explore, and each person is an individual with individual needs. So that's that's with regards to your gut. Everyone's gut is different. So I'm not a doctor or a scientist, I don't diagnose, but I work with you as a team, and we explore and see what's going on. Okay, so kind of talk about what are your reasons to be healthy. He's my reason. This is also my reason. This is like, I want to feel joy and energy. I want to be just this. This is who I am. I want to have a healthy brain, and that's actually what we're going to talk about in a few moments. And also for the environment. I mean, again, health connects to the health of our environment is very much connected to the health of our health. So all of these things. So again, I'm just really kind of throwing these out there just for you to think, why do I want to be healthy? What are the reasons? What motivates me? Because sometimes knowing that can help you when things get a little difficult. Because it does get difficult. Things are not always that easy, making the right choices. But if we really understand what is driving us, what is that our reason, our purpose, that can always help us. So nutrition. So this is kind of what is nutrition, and it's the active process of nourishing or being nourished. Now, sometimes when you hear about nutrition, you think about food. It's just food. But I believe it's a lot more. For me, let's keep going here. But for me, holistic nutrition is the environment. So again, the environment in which we eat. It's the people we eat with. It is the energy we surround ourselves with. It's the air we breathe. Keep going. The water we drink, the quality of sleep, exercise. There's so many factors that are connected to our health, and also then to the health of our gut. All right, we'll just keep going. So we're into kind of the part we're going to talk about today, the gut and brain connection. So I've kind of broken it down into 3 areas. We have the neurotransmitters, immune system, and genes. Now, there's a lot of words in here. All we need to remember is neurotransmitters, basically your gut is producing neurotransmitters. It is producing, so these are essentially the chemicals. We've heard about neurotransmitters in the brain, but who knows here that your gut actually produces neurotransmitters? So quite a few of you know that. And so when we don't have a healthy gut, our gut isn't able to produce these neurotransmitters. And that's going to impact how you feel. It's going to impact your mood. It's going to change your decisions. You may not make the best decisions. You don't feel good. Then that will then impact your gut. So it's kind of this cyclical relationship. You kind of see here, the gut-brain axis. So I like to think of it as it's this highway that's kind of going back and forth. And your gut is communicating with your brain's communicating with your gut. And when that breaks down, it's going to impact both parts. So our immune system, 70% of our immune system is actually based in the gut. So again, when you have this imbalance, or we call it dysbiosis, but when there's this imbalance in the gut, it's going to impact your brain. And then genes are, it's not just gene, it's the GENE. The bacteria in your gut can change what happens to your genes. So we often hear sometimes in medicine today that, you know, your genes are your destiny. Your genes are not your destiny. It's what happens, whether those genes are turned on, whether they're turned off. And the bacteria in your gut can change whether a gene is turned on or turned off. So these are just important things to think about. All right. So this is a favorite topic of mine. I know that you Dr. Laura, has talked about fats as well. So our brains need healthy fats. And this diet discussion that's been going on for years about, you know, fat is bad, fat is bad, fat is bad. Bad fats, highly processed fats, damaged fats, yes, they are bad, but good, healthy fats, our brains need them. Our brains are over 60% fat. And the actual dry weight of a brain, a third of it is DHA. We've DHA, EPA, so these are different types of fats. And so our brains desperately need fats. Without good, healthy fats, our brain does not function the way it needs to. And we know that DHA is this membrane around the neurons. And when we don't have enough fats, that membrane is damaged. And so the correct things can't get in, some can't get out. And so again, that's going to impair our thinking. We have different sources of DHA, such as found in fish, different kinds of fish here, salmon, herring, mackerel. And then you can also get in some green powders. Spirulina is a wonderful powder. It's not the tastiest. I don't know if anyone here has tried spirulina. But if you can't take it in smoothies and things like that, it's great in a capsule, and that will work too. So again, fats, healthy fats, very good for the brain. Probiotics. Now, we've heard about probiotics for immune system, for health. I mean, a lot of they're quite common. But probiotics also have a great impact on brain health, in particular with regards to ADHD, for children showing aggression. Probiotics have shown in various different studies. One study showed that they improved attention and self-control. Another one showed that those eating a probiotic-rich yogurt had 85% less stress and anxiety. And then another one from Britain showed, again, a reduction in anger and hostility. So when there is an imbalance in the bacteria in the gut, it can really influence your brain and how you're feeling. And so simply eating a probiotic-rich yogurt, and then we have probiotics in many other foods, that can actually help us feel better. When we feel better, we make better decisions. So again, it's kind of this kind of cyclical or circular relationship between our gut and our brain. And this is something I feel very strongly about. And as I've studied more and more nutrition, our brain health and how it's influencing our young and our children is so important today. And that's really where I want to shout from the top of the mountains, we need to support them through healthier diets. Because what we're giving them in a lot of the schools, at sports events, things like that, it's not what they need. And then suddenly we have so many children with different types of behavioral issues, and we blame the behavior, we blame the child. But if we can do certain kinds of foods, if we can provide them the support, maybe we can help alleviate what's going on and, you know, have, again, support our kids through better nutrition and diet. Sorry, I know I talk a lot. So there's a lot of different nutrients here that can support the brain. And if you want, I can give you a copy of this presentation. But just one, zinc is a really important one. Zinc is, with regards to people even with bipolar, depression, schizophrenia, some very serious mental challenges, we know that zinc is very often low. Zinc is key for our immune. I mean, we've heard of when we get a cold, zinc is very helpful when you're sick. But it has so many different implications just for brain health. And low levels are associated with depression, with anxiety, short fuse, irritability. So zinc is one that I highly recommend. again, depending on your levels, getting it through food. I always believe getting what you can through food is the best way. There may be times that food is not enough, that you need extra support. But with regards to food, you've got oysters are a very high source of zinc. I like pumpkin seeds. Pumpkin seeds are a handy thing to have in your bag. You can just have it as a snack rather than going towards or less healthier snacks. And then some other ones like eggs and brown rice and lamb and things like that. But zinc is definitely one I highly recommend. Iron is another one. And we know when we don't have enough iron, we don't feel good, don't have energy, poor concentration, and eating as much iron. But it may not always be that you may be getting enough iron, but you may not be absorbing the iron. And that's when you need to start taking a look at what's going on in your gut. All right, more nutrients again. B12 is very important. And B12, when you don't have enough stomach acid, you may not have enough B12. And then it can lead to some forgetfulness. We've seen, particularly in the elderly, sometimes B12 can be deficient, and just increasing levels of B12 can improve memory and concentration. So that's just one to think of. And then copper and magnesium. So again, all of these micronutrients, I'm focusing more on the micronutrients, we can get through certain foods, and then we can supplement them, but I highly recommend get them as much as you can through food before you supplement. I always say you can't really supplement your way out of a bad diet. So always try to look at what you're eating. All right, so really here, to nourish and optimize the brain, first thing is a whole food diet. We need to be eating whole foods. High quality matters, diverse, nutrient dense, with lots of fresh vegetables, fruit, essential fatty acids, when I talked about the fats. High quality protein. We also need some booster foods. Booster foods are your nuts, your seeds, your things that give you that spirulina would be a booster food. So these extra superfoods that kind of give you that energy. Soul food is something actually I learned at Bowman College, and soul food is really a great way to think of it. So it's food that's seasonal, because seasonal food is healthier, organic, unprocessed or unadulterated, but unprocessed, and then local. And if you can think of those things when you're eating, soul, it gives you soul. This is important for us. Prebiotics, probiotics, I talked about the probiotics, and then your fermented foods. So this is just if we can look at that and follow this plan, this will definitely help support your brain, which supports your gut, supporting your brain. All right, this is Dr. David Perlmutter, and he talks about, he's written several books on the brain. He is a neuroscientist, and he talks again about the dangers of processed foods. And he's kind of 5 different things that he says that are helpful to think about. Avoid consuming packaged foods with more than 5 ingredients. Because sometimes we get, we look at the ingredients, if you can read them, because I know they're getting smaller and smaller. And the more ingredients it has, the more processed it is. So the less ingredients, the better it is for our body, the better it is for our brain. Cook more often. And that's, again, something I know that can get harder in our extremely busy lives. But the more we cook together, the more we cook with our families, the more we touch the food, the more connected we become to our food. And then that just feeds us, not just from a food point, but it feeds us energetically as well. Treat meat like a condiment. It shouldn't be your main part of your dish. It should be like the smaller, a quarter, and then do one plant-based. Again, focus on plants, because plants have a lot of healthy nutrients. And quality is so important. All right, so one of the things that I do is functional testing, because we can get to a stage where we're eating really well. We're eating all the great foods, and yet something's still not working. So what I have moved towards is doing some testing where through these tests, and there's a stool test or there's an oats test, we look at these tests, or we look at the results of these tests, and we can identify where the imbalance is. And these are just kind of some of the tests that I do, but they reveal gut infections where there's too much bad bacteria, where there's not enough good bacteria, when there are some metabolites. And one of the things that we notice, so when we see in these tests, again, a lot of words in here, but these are two examples of when you may have bacteria in your gut that can be impacting your brain. One is Clostridia, and then another is Candida. Now, Clostridia can actually, and you can see these on specific tests, but when you have a growth of Clostridia, you have these neurotoxic enzymes which interfere with dopamine and actually lead to increased dopamine. We need dopamine, but when we have too much, this can cause hyperactivity, sleep disturbances, again, a lot of brain challenges. Same with Candida. Now, again, a lot of females will have heard of Candida, but Candida in the gut can also cause different types of behavior. And for instance, Candida with children, sometimes children who behave kind of inappropriately, talking when they shouldn't, almost like that they're drunk. This can be actually due to an overgrowth of Candida in the gut. So just these bacteria, kind of this imbalance, can really impact your mood, your behavior. And being able to identify it and then take appropriate measures can lead to better brain health because of the gut. So again, there is this highway that is communicating back and forth, and what happens in each place can really change. If you help support each area, then you can really change how you feel. All right, so these are some did you knows. They'll be in the presentation, but some of the interesting things, probiotics, supplementation during pregnancy in the first year of life can actually reduce the risk of developing ADHD in children. So some interesting kind of things that we can do and that we can let people know about. In zinc, as I talked about, this is one of my favorite ones, seen as lethargy, poor wound healing, appetite. Having low zinc can lead to low appetite, low sense of taste and smell. So these are all things that to think about when we have some neuro challenges. All right, so this is a recipe. This is, who here likes sardines? Okay, good. So sardines are a wonderful source of healthy fats. This is a sardine tapenade. For those who don't like sardines, this still tastes really good. I actually have to admit, sardines are not my favorite, but they're good for us. And this is a nice recipe where you've got lots of other flavors that really help. If you don't like sardines, it really improves them. And if you love sardines, this tastes really good. So try it and let me know if you like it. And then just kind of final thoughts. The gut is often the missing link between when you suffer from brain and neuro challenges. We often treat it with, when we see behavioral issues, mood issues, we often jump to medication. But if we sometimes just step back and think, what's going on? There's always a reason for something. Let's look to the root, and that root is very often the gut. Nutrition matters. And I think a lot of the feeling used to be nutrition was just a means to an end. You know, let's just have some food. I just need to get some food in my belly to give me a bit of energy. But nutrition and what you're eating and how well you're absorbing it and what's going on in your gut does impact the brain. And then with the right tools, sometimes we need to figure out what's really going on. So we need to do a little bit of investigation. And with those tools and with that information, we can then decide what are we going to do and then what is necessary for healing. And then small steps make a big difference. So there's a lot of things. I mean, I threw a lot of information here, but small steps really do help. You're just leaving here and thinking, okay, today I'm going to eat some more healthy fats, or I am going to start taking probiotics, or maybe you're already doing it, but just something, each step brings us a little closer to healing. And if you need any help or support, I'm here. So thank you so much.